Well, good evening. Kind of getting a late start at this week. This is normally a devotion that I put up on Friday, but this is the devotion from the Revised Common Lectionary for the 24th Sunday after Pentecost. We could also call it the penultimate Sunday after Pentecost, because next Sunday will be the 25th Sunday after Pentecost, and that is the last Sunday that gets that kind of generic name, because the final Sunday of the year is coming up. That is going to be Christ the King Sunday, which is the Sunday before American Thanksgiving. But this is the lectionary. It's coming from the Gospel, reading on the 24th Sunday after Pentecost, coming from the Gospel of Mark. We've been in the Gospel of Mark. We find ourselves in chapter, if I'm not mistaken, we're finding ourselves in chapter 12. And just a pretty short reading today, starting at 12, verse 38, and going through the end of the chapter. Jesus also taught, "Beware of these teachers of the religious law, for they like to parade around in flowing robes and receive respectful greetings as they walk in the marketplaces. And how they love the seats of honor in the synagogues and the head table at banquets. Yet they shamelessly cheat widows out of their property and then pretend to be pious by making long prayers in public. Because of this, they will be more severely punished." Now, this is where it gets interesting. So Jesus just teaches this about the Pharisees, but I'm not going to go and talk about that yet. Let's go on to the next section. Jesus sat down near the collection box at the temple and watched as the crowds dropped in their money. Many rich people put in large amounts. Then a poor widow came and dropped in 2 small coins. Jesus called his disciples to him and said, "I tell you the truth, this poor widow has given more than all the others who are making contributions, for they gave a tiny part of their surplus. But she, poor as she is, has given everything she had to live on." Really interesting juxtaposition here. Jesus warning against the teaching of or telling people to watch out for the religious people. And then this observation that Jesus makes of the widow. Because Jesus has just gotten done talking about how these teachers of the religious law go around and they cheat the widows, they cheat the poor, and they pretend to be righteous. And isn't that us sometimes? We pretend to be righteous. We pretend like we have our act all together. They like to flaunt, the Pharisees like to flaunt their religiosity. And they want their respectful greetings, and they wanted the place of honor. And I wonder, we don't like to put ourselves in the place of the Pharisees very often. To put ourselves in the place of the Pharisees is to kind of admit that I don't have my act all together. And I think most of us, if we were, we would say that, I don't cheat widows. I don't pretend to be pious. And yet there are other things that we like to do. And to be quite honest, so do I. For they like to parade around in flowing robes and receive respectful greetings. Who doesn't want to be respected? But but to look for it on purpose. And they love the seats of honor. Who doesn't want to be in a seat of honor? But Jesus has already had these conversations. He talks about those who want to be first will be last, and those who are last will be first. And Jesus says that when we pretend to be pious in public, we will be more severely punished. So that's the supposedly religious people. That's the rich people. So what about the other side of the coin? This woman, we know that she's a widow, and she put in two coins. And there had been people putting in lots and lots. And Jesus makes this very hyperbolic statement. I tell you the truth, this poor woman has given more than all the others who are making contributions. The disciples are probably like, what are you talking about, Jesus? She only put 2 pennies in the offering plate, and other people gave a whole bunch of money. And Jesus reminds the disciples that the other people, they gave out of their surplus. They gave out of their abundance. And that's really tough, because sometimes we do want to give out of our abundance. If money's tight, we might not give. But this widow gave her last money, the money that she needed to live on, and gave it as an offering. Gives new meaning to loving the Lord our God with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength, doesn't it? And so that is the thing. And she wasn't doing it for. You contrast her attitude of humility, a poor widow, dropping in 2 coins, while the rest have been parading around. And so it's such a striking contrast. And so the question I have for us tonight, as we wrap up, is: are we living more like the widow, giving everything that we have, giving out of our need? Are we giving out of our abundance? And are we being pious and religious like the Pharisees, or are we being humble like the woman? Interesting thought on a Sunday night. Go in peace. Think about it. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.